Bonjour and welcome to Good Guys Sports show Olympic edition. On today's show, we will talk about some latest Olympic updates, and we'll recap and catch all of them on anything that we missed and what we've got and learn with from our biggest takeaways from any sports um that that and any sports and competitions that took place, and we will have it all for you. We will also have some other sports news to get to as well, and we will talk more about that. But right now, we'll talk about the Olympics in a second. Um, um, B.L. Weinberger, our co-host, is currently not gonna be with us this week. He is on assignment, so it'll just be the three of us this week. So let's get right to it. The Olympic Games are already underway. The opening ceremony um just happened last Friday. Now, what we know so far is Simone Biles is dazzles and wins the gold medal, and has won the gold medal, and for record breaking, for being one of the most American women um athletes to win the most titles ever. And I got to tell you, me and my mom is so obsessed with Simone Biles. We gathered around and watched it together on the TV to witness history last night, and I I got to tell you, it was just very exciting to watch. We were just so into it, all glued in the TV together, and we were just we were just we were just there watching it together in real time. They putting on a show, and Suni Lee and Team USA delivering another record-breaking gold medal in the Olympics ever since she turned pro. And that there's nothing quite like her from what I can take away from her. And she is by far the greatest American gymnastics woman um, um, ever, by far. And I think that she really deserves it. And I give her credit for a lot from what she has accomplished. And also in the Olympics that involves for Team USA. I, I'm pretty sure that Marion is listening to us, which I hope she is. That I don't know if you guys were able to solve this, but or catch it, that the Americans stunned Australia in women's rugby. It looked to me where it looked like that the game was going down the wire, and it was like tied, and it was all going to come down to one last play of the game, or else it possibly would go to overtime, extra time. And yet the Americans just fight hard and just somehow got lucky enough and found a way to walk it off to the other side of the field, and and tied the game up. And when it looked like to me the kick six and the Iron Bowl of Auburn, Alabama, or in a or what would be a or what would be a game winning play in the NFL, it had that kind of feel.
Yeah.
And that to me is what stood out in these Olympic Games. Follow that up, we go to swimming, and we had French French male Leon Matra getting the crowd ovation in one of the men's freestyle events. And then and then of course it, and then of course Uncle Mike's local athletes that you should follow. Of course, Katie Ledecky. Now, now has untied and broken the record of 13 titles and is currently and now is currently the most one of the, if not one of the greatest swimmers of all time. To capture it was so, pardon the words, she deserved it, and she is by far the most
Yep. Katie
yeah,
Ledecky.
right, yes, and
She's got
yes,
13 medals,
yes, she's
8 of
won
them gold.
13. Yes, that's right.
Yesterday, she won the 1,500-meter race by 10 seconds,
Wow.
which is like
That's crazy.
over half a pool length.
Right. And yes. And like you said earlier, Mike, she's 113. She's 113, and she is the greatest women's swimmer athlete in modern era of all time. Like you
She
said,
still
Mike.
has the 800-meter swim to go.
That's right. I'm going to be tuning into that tonight.
Which is about a half a mile. The 1,500 meter is a little over 1 mile. And she swam that in about 15 minutes.
So what's the shortest distance that they compete in for
50 meters?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they do a 50-meter race. But
did she compete in that one, or she's the
no,
one?
she is more of a distance.
Okay.
She's not a sprinter.
Probably more impressive, maybe.
Yeah.
You could argue. Depends on your perspective, I guess. But
yeah, it is. I always gravitate towards the longer distances myself. But yeah. But getting back to the rugby match, Alex Cedric, 8 seconds left. Aussies winning 12-5, breaks a tackle, and then books it all the way down to the field to get the try, and then kicks the extra point, or that's the 2 extra point. That was probably one of the most exciting things that I've seen. I wish they had more of the rugby 7-on-7 on TV, but that is an exciting sport. I fell in love with the 7-on-7 rugby.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was a crazy ending, and also you could tell how unprecedented, like how little that kind of play, like that game-winning run, actually happened by the reaction of the Australian players, because obviously they were devastated to miss out on a bronze medal in that way, but you could tell by their reaction, like how stunned they were, that I'm sure most of them had never really had that sort of scenario happen to them, let alone in a medal match for the Olympics. So yeah, that was probably definitely one of the highlights from Paris for myself as well so far.
The owner of the Washington Spirit of the Women's Soccer League has donated $4 million to the women's rugby team. So, well,
Very cool. Yeah, it's definitely catching the team, huh? Rugby.
Yeah, it was great. And then a shout out to the men's gymnastics and the engineer on the pommel horse winning the bronze for the USA.
For the first time since 2008, they have finally captured the bronze medal in one of the individual events.
Yeah.
Finally, they end the streak, Mike, like you said.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I think going back to your first point, Jackson, just how with the women's gymnastics, and obviously Simone Biles is just so dominant, and she's definitely head and shoulders above everybody else. And I think you could tell as well in that team event where mistakes on the floor event where she stepped out a little bit, but ultimately it didn't really matter because the sort of moves that she was doing were so much better than everyone else that even shoulders above everyone else in their sport, and you can really tell that whenever someone like Ledecky or Biles is competing, and like, wow, like this person is kind of on that, maybe not quite on the Michael Phelps level, because he was kind of, he's kind of an alien when it comes to how dominant he was compared to the rest of his competition. But Biles and Ledecky definitely fit into that category for sure.
And Biles did it with a calf injury.
Exactly, yeah. Even more impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a bunch of question marks to see if she was even going to compete with her playing with her calf that she got injured with one of the bars and one of the equipment that she had on leading into this. It was just really was just to me looked questionable for her to compete, but I'm glad she got it done, like you said.
And I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe both Ledecky and Biles are 27, which for swimming and gymnastics, that is getting close to being ancient for their respective sports. And they both come up on top. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
Indeed. So I've mentioned Katie Ledecky. She went to high school in Bethesda, and she calls her roots DC home. Probably followed by Tori Husk, who is the Arlington, Virginia native. And then one of the athletes that has not yet competition that hasn't got underway yet is Noah Wiles, the Alexandria native. So yes, there are lots of local athletes Uncle Mike should be tuned in to root for, to cheer on for as the Olympic Games go on. But yes, lots to look forward to for those big star names to watch.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Did you catch any of the triathlon? Had the women's triathlon yesterday, and they were allowed to swim in a Seine. They jumped into the Seine and swam 1.5 kilometers to get off of that, and then ride a 40-kilometer bike ride, and then after that a 10-kilometer run. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, at one point, it looked like that event wasn't going to take place at these games, despite all because of the rumors of 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 the river being and with the water being unhealthy and not safe to swim in. I'm just glad that they were just able to get it in, and as expected, as expected. Despite all that, but I know that the triathlon athletes should be really happy for what they've that they went through, like you said.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the performance of the men's basketball team?
I thought they did.
So far, so good, right, Jack?
Yeah, I thought they did pretty good. They did win. They did win against South Sudan in their last game in a blowout. But the women's team, I believe did win today against Belgium, which happened to be on the border, not right near the arena that they played at. But yeah, so far it looked like what it looked like to me with one of the commentators was saying on TV that it was a Belgium sellout crowd because of what he just said, not far from the border, and it just borders with the two countries separately, and that's just what made it this game so exciting. But yeah, like you said, the Americans are off to a great start for both the women's and men's team. The men's team obviously always finds ways to win. Off to a great start as expected. I know that Jason Tatum and LeBron James, among other stars, and and then of course there was also going to be an appearance of Snoop Dogg, which I really enjoyed, and he always I saw a few pieces of him on one of the segments on TV, and I thought that he killed it and crushed it from the segments that he did, and I just thought it was incredible. But I'm glad. But more importantly, I'm glad Team USA got the win that they needed, and they deserve it. And I know that they'll be in, and I know that they'll be in the hunt for a gold medal, if not for on the podium for a medal. But yeah, yeah. Team USA basketball is off to a great start, but not going to be nearly as great as the Dream Team in the from the '92 Barcelona games, but it they will always be right there in this position, but not quite that team, but close enough.
I think Kevin Durant's in can't miss mode. I mean, everything he's throwing up goes into the bucket.
Yeah, sounds like he's having a great time, and he's just
Yeah.
living for the moment.
Yeah. Did you see the picture of the French Japan game where the 5'6" Japanese guy was trying to guard the big tall 7'4" center for the French team?
You're talking about Victor Wembanyama, or
Yeah, there was a Japanese player was 5'6",
yeah,
was guarding him.
yeah. To me, he looked clutch, and I think that he just really just went on and did his thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, I think the U.S. I think definitely should be getting a gold medal despite some of the talent that the other teams, obviously, like we just mentioned, Wembanyama and Serbia with Jokic. I think we beat Serbia in the first game, obviously, so they don't have nearly as much talent as we do. So yeah, ultimately, I'm expecting a gold medal. Maybe unless if you come up against France, doesn't have a lot of talented players, and obviously they have the home court advantage as well. So maybe there's a scenario where they keep it close in a gold medal game or the quarterfinals, however the bracket pans out. But yeah, for the men's basketball, it should be good. But speaking of basketball, have you guys seen any of the new 3-on-3 basketball yet?
I saw some. I've seen some of it. It looks like playing on the playground.
Yeah, I saw some of it too, and what's interesting about that is that there's not any NBA players on any of those rosters for those countries. So that I actually find fascinating, and I just know that only like different league only like international players play in this event, but I don't think any that any players in the NBA from the NBA play in this, given the fact that that's probably their rules, and that's just what they decided to do.
Mm-hmm. Blake, what do you think of the 3x3?
Players like the U.S. team, for example, has the men's team has from way back in the day. This basketball started.
You're breaking up a little bit. You're getting into a bad cell.
Your audio is frozen. Just
well,
a little static.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're much better.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. No, I was just saying, yeah, ultimately I'll be curious to see how the Olympic Committee if they want to keep it or not. But I think some good crowds there. The French team had a good crowd going, and maybe it's a fun spectator sport similar to sand volleyball, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the one sport that I wish I've seen more of and they broadcast more was the team handball. Have you all seen any of the team handball on the Olympics?
I did see a little bit of it, but I just what I actually I did see some of it, but actually that I mean look, yeah, to your point about handball, yeah, it can be a lot of fun, but then playing it, having realizing that if you're actually in it, then you're probably going to be you're probably going to be you're probably going to be getting getting hit in the chest by a ball. So that just makes you want to hurt, want to just really get hit after playing the sport, which I pretty much would pretty much to me look like if I were like to me whenever I think of a handball tournament, looks to me like a physical educational class with a bunch of with a bunch of students that are probably gonna get tagged and probably gonna let you sit out and just pretty much for like whatever how many outs you got for the sport is probably what I think of when I think of handball is exactly that, and that's just what I think handball really is.
Yeah. When does track and field start?
I believe tomorrow,
I think in
if I'm not mistaken.
couple days, right? Oh, is
I
it
think
tomorrow?
Friday.
Yeah, so I guess the 100-meter like gold medal is kind of like the most anticipated event, probably, right? Towards the end of
Yeah,
the
that's
ceremony.
the fastest person,
Yeah.
or
So
whoever
you
wins that.
think Wiles is the front runner though for that?
Probably so. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to his competition to say otherwise.
Is that what you're hearing, Jack?
Well, I did watch some of his highlights at the U.S. Olympic tribals in Eugene, and from what I can tell you, he is by far the fastest U.S. Athlete by anyone by male in the entire competition. But in the Olympics, it's going to be it's going to be a whole different task for who's going to be competing against. But not sure if he's going to be matching with the great Usain Bolt, but I know he'll be right there and competing in one of the podium positions, if not a gold that he doesn't win in this games. He'll definitely get a medal for sure. It just probably won't be the gold medal.
What's your favorite track and field event, Jack?
Let's see. That's a great question. Probably the 300 or 500 meter when they race the laps around the track for like more than like 500 miles, I think.
Mm.
That is like probably the longest one yet, I think. Like the longest race ever out of any one of those in that event. So I would have to say the longest one ever, which to me makes it much watch TV. So that's probably what I say to that.
Okay. Blake, what's your favorite?
You know, I always enjoy the relays. I think just because there's like an extra element of chaos, you know, with handing off the batons and all that. I really enjoy that one. And then I also think the what's the one? Pole vaulting. Pole
Pole
vaulting. That's what
vaulting.
I wanna-
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm always amazed at how someone's actually able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. I like the high jump.
That's a good one as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the long jump too.
Yeah, I like the triple jump.
Sure, sure.
That's fun. But yeah, but as far as the track, the 5,000 meter and the 10,000 meter races, I've always just, just a distance thing. And of course, then there's the marathon. But it should be a good weekend. What do you think of the Olympic golf that got started today, Jack?
Yes, yes. The Olympic golf just got underway while we were sleeping at like 3 a.m. in the morning. And so right now, if I can, if I can try to pull it up, I believe that Team Japan is on top of the leaderboard right now. After one round, as it currently stands. I didn't catch any of it, so that's probably my best guess of where
Mhm.
actually things stand.
Yeah,
Right
he's
now.
minus 8. Xander Scheffel is -6. Scotty Scheffler is -4. But they've only played one round, so I got to play 3 more, and we'll see. So it's gotten off to a good start.
Yeah, the
So
Olympic.
has golf has Jackson has golf been in every of the recent Olympics, or have they brought it back recently? 'Cause
I think
I'm
they
trying to
brought it
remember.
back in the 2016 Olympics in
Yeah,
Rio.
that's what I
Yeah,
thought too. I know some people are a bit lukewarm on like golf and sports like golf, soccer, and basketball that already have like big competitions like the Masters or the Open or the World Cup and Euros like being the Olympics. So yeah, I know. And same thing with like I know baseball was in previously and now it's not, and they're bringing it back, kind of thing. So I don't know. I think maybe it works better in certain iterations. If you have like a really good course in the city that you're hosting the Olympics, that helps as well. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of undecided on Olympic golf, but ultimately it's fun to watch the best players
yeah,
on a big stage, right?
yeah. They had it in 1900 and 1904, and then they dropped it, and then it did not come back until 2016 in Rio, like Jack said.
Oh wow, yeah, that was like a super long gap. So none of the great players, from back, anytime in like the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s
Yeah. Well,
weren't really part of it, right?
yeah. Well, I think part of that was you had to be an amateur in order to get into the Olympics.
Right, right.
And then it wasn't until 1992 for the Barcelona games when that kind of went away. And that's why we had the first dream team to enable
Right.
professional athletes to compete in the Olympics.
Yeah, so I feel like we really missed out on Tiger Woods, demolishing golf at the Atlanta
Yeah.
'96 Olympics. Just think of all the
Yeah.
Oh well.
But there was always the Masters.
Fair enough. Yeah, I wonder if they would have
Yeah.
played. Yeah, there's no way the Masters would have let them play Olympic golf at in '96 at Augusta, but that would have been funny.
Yeah.
If only it happened,
Something
then
tells me they don't like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah. If only they found a way to use it to happen during its time, then it would probably be in a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. What did you think of the floating cauldron at the opening ceremony when they always light the flame and it started rising up? as if
Yeah,
it
it's
was a
very
hot air
unusual.
balloon.
Whenever I saw it in real time, I always thought it was like one of those hot air balloons that was like going to disappear up in the air and in the sky and never seen again, kind of thing. It just to me, it just felt different. From it not being in a stadium, from years past, and having just and then knowing that it's just one of those Olympic games, and you're just trying to find where the flame was after it get lit up, and now you realize where the athletes are trying to look for. It's just like you got, yeah, and then you just got to think, and wondering where it went, and it's just feel like it's one of those Olympic games that's like probably hidden, and just feels like for many of those athletes just can't really seem to find it, which I find that a bit confusing for some, but at least Paris put on a show from what they did for their for the ceremony, which I thought was spectacular and cool, and just thought they did a great job overall despite all that. And I just think that Paris just really knows how to put on a show from its history when they had the games there for a few times. And yeah, I think Paris just just really nailed it from what they've from what they did for ceremony, and I just great for them. And I just think that they and I just think that they did great job, and worked very hard on it. And I just think that they really deserved, after for what they did, to win this history.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the star is Paris itself, and to have the entire city as the venue for the Olympics and having them going down to Seine, that was I thought it was pretty spectacular.
What's also very spectacular is that Sion Dion performance, which I believe she crushed it and did a great job despite all of those health scares she went through. But I just think that she on top of the Eiffel Tower, which I thought she did great, and I think that she nailed it, and I think that she did a great job, and glad to see her singing voice back.
Yeah, I agree. She crushed it.
Yeah, no, I
was-
think I think the opening ceremonies was really great. I agree with what you guys said. I think having it all along the river is something that we never really seen before. So I think obviously we've seen a lot of opening ceremonies where people are just walking in a stadium and stuff. So the fact that they were able to kind of add a new twist to it, while keeping it very authentic to Paris, being on the Seine, I thought was really cool. So yeah, I think it was overall a great opening ceremony. I
Yeah.
concur.
LA's got their work cut out for them for their opening ceremony. That's for sure.
Yeah, I heard they're gonna have everybody in big parade floats down the LA freeway. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out on the 405.
But wouldn't that be something for what the Olympic Games has yet to come for the next 4 years? That would be very fascinating to watch.
Indeed.
So so uh so Mike, what do you think about Coco Gauff getting knocked out in the mixed doubles, and Rafael Nadal um and Rafael Nadal calling it a career as a Olympic athlete in tennis?
Yeah. No, I mean it's it's the Olympics and anything can happen. And sorry for Coco for getting defeated, but she'll bounce back. I think the Americans double they're still active. But yeah, I mean it's good to see the clay courts back. And I was reading something where the clay courts actually are, the ball bounces higher, not higher, but more on the clay courts than any of the other surfaces. So it's got to be a hard surface to play on, because the ball's gonna go faster. But yeah, it was, if there's so many different sports, it's hard to remember which one is up next. So
Well,
Yeah, I saw that Nadal was playing, like you said, Jack. This is sort of his farewell. Obviously, he was part of the opening ceremonies as well, and he's such a huge part of the French Open and Roland Garros. And I thought he was playing doubles with Alcaraz as well. I'm not sure if they're still active in that, not, but that's a fun pairing, kind of the past and future of Spanish tennis. So I think, yeah, kind of going back to what I was saying about golf, I think having tennis at this Olympics is good because you're able to play at Roland Garros, which is obviously where they have a major every year. So it does make sense. So I have enjoyed watching a fair bit of the tennis as well.
well, to your point, Mike, earlier from what you just said earlier, right before Blake jumped in, that on the sport that on the sport that you were trying to watch, and just that that you that you were saying that if you had trouble finding the sport that you really want to watch, that is why Peacock has a thing called Goal Zone, where you can like watch more than one event streaming, where it has like more than like pretty much at least 5 boxes to choose from for every sport from every angle, which I think makes it very cool for the future and
I love Gold Zone,
and
man.
for sports in general. I know you do, Blake, and think about it. You get the idea. You get the idea. It's kind of like a spinoff of the Red Zone, except in Olympic style. If only there was a thing. The only thing I like to say to that is that if there if there was a thing called Fantasy Olympics, I would definitely be participating in this family. Like I would do when we have our fantasy football league every
I'm
year.
drafting USA number one
But if the Fantasy
overall.
Olympics were a thing, then yes, I would be competing in it.
well, that's something we need to invent for LA.
Yeah, I think for what you could do
Why
is
not? Let's get to it.
you could do
Yeah.
sort of like a pick'em pool where you put all the countries in a hat, and then you have, well, I guess you pick like however many, like 12 countries or 16 countries, and then you do like a randomized draft order, and then you get to pick what countries you want, and then you have like a group of four, and then based on the medal count, you can kind of do like points. So obviously, like countries like USA and China would be heavily favored, but then again, in fantasy NFL, you've got players that are heavily favored as well. So that could be a fun thing.
Yeah. And you can combine it with sports, the different competitions. So let's say you picked 5 countries and 5 competitions, and then you total up the medal count that you would have gotten from those 5 countries in the 5 events that they participated in. So it would be a blending of both the events and the countries, something like that. But I think,
I like it. We could definitely workshop that.
yeah, I think we can come up with something for LA, Jack.
Let's do it. Sign me up.
All right, you're signed up. This will be a Good Guys Sports exclusive.
And you know what? And it will be a Good Guy Sports exclusive. At the games the next 4 years will be returning back to the States for the first time since 1996 in Atlanta, which will be a lot more convenient for many Americans like us, not having to deal with traveling overseas like you do in the current games in Europe and in Paris. But yeah, that's definitely something to really think about.
All right.
Okay, what else? Oh yeah, so did you have I also wanted to ask you Uncle Mike this question. So did you happen to catch one of the um any of the mountain biking BMX race? Because my mom told me that she was talking to her grandmother and told me that the scenery looks beautiful and really and it really looks nice to look at for some parts of the course, which I think it just looks very fascinating to me.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the mountain biking in the women's event. The American came in second, got the silver medal.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot her name, but she was from Utah, which to me makes sense because Utah is mountain bike mecca.
Oh yeah.
Moab, other places like that within Utah. I mean, there's a lot of people riding mountain bikes in Utah, so that didn't surprise me a bit. Saw a little bit of the BMX. It just looked like a huge uh, skate skating rink uh, for skateboards
Mm.
and all the different tricks they were doing. And that was pretty good. But that's all that just saw a little tiny bit.
Yeah, to
So
me it
was
looks
Devin,
pretty cool.
was the mountain biking course sort of more? I think I saw a little bit of some of the mountain bike, sort of like almost like foresty terrain, right?
Yeah.
With some of the scenery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very much like it was on a mountainside or a valley. Uh,
Right.
and almost like the equestrian course. They had the equestrian course going through a lot of the woods and everything at Versailles. They carved out 2.5 mile trail through the Versailles for the equestrian race. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how some of these courses, how like where they are proximity to Paris or just like other parts of France, stuff like that. It's pretty diverse sort of landscape in Paris and France in general as well. So I feel like they could definitely do a lot of different types of settings for sure.
Yeah. Do the mountain biking in the Alps.
There you go. There you go.
So also, I also did you happen to catch any of the table tennis where the American made it all the way to pretty much made it much farther at least the third round at least this far until he got on until the run came to an end by yes, you guessed it, of course, the Chinese, who are always dominant in this event. And yet the Chinese do own table tennis, and that's part of the reason why they have a lot of success in these games. So that really explains a lot, and that's just where things are right now. Also in diving, Chinese also own diving in that event. So the Chinese are the ones that are most dominant in diving and table tennis, and then also in swimming that I mentioned earlier. The Australians and the U.S. probably one of the greatest rivalries of all time, comparing it to David versus Goliath, and that to me just tells you what this for the leading countries that really dominate for most of these events in these Olympics. It just explains and tells you a lot, and that's just and that's just where things stand right now for what the Olympics has has in store for us to what it delivers.
Yeah, no, there's a big rivalry between Australia and the US in swimming. The Aussie women won the gold in the 4x200 meter relay, the one that Ledecky was on for the US to win silver to get her 13th medal this afternoon. So yeah, the Aussies are but going back to diving, the synchronized diving, I believe the American women won silver in that event earlier this week. The Chinese won the gold, but I think the Americans took home the silver on that. It's either silver or bronze.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is, which group it was, but I know that.
Jackson, back to the going back
Yeah.
to the table tennis though. You brought that up.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying watching that because it's honestly crazy watching. I was watching, I think, the mixed doubles gold medal. It was I think China versus North Korea, and honestly, just watching the doubles as well. Because as far as I'm aware, like the table is the same size for singles and doubles, but the fact that they're able to hit it so hard and return it so cleanly, and the skill level on that is just unbelievable. To be honest, like I think when you think of table tennis, people think, oh well, like can't be that crazy. Like I play ping pong all the time, but man, watching these high level Olympians play that is it's like next level. I've really been enjoying that high level of skill.
When you think about it, Blake, they are like going back and forth faster and faster in like in like higher speeds than what you're used to than your average regular ping pong table. So those specials just go back and forth right at it like very faster than us. So yeah, I get it. They're just one of the. Yeah, I get it, Blake. I hear you. I hear you. And it is one of those events that just makes it more exciting to watch for those who are really into it.
Yeah, their hand-eye coordination is tremendous.
Totally, yeah. Definitely no clubhouse ping pong, that's for sure. It's,
Yeah,
serious hand-eye. You're right. I'm like, yeah.
I know. Maybe that's what the Nationals need to do is put a ping pong table in their clubhouse to increase their hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, you can do a
Really?
lot worse, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you even think they have one?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know? Well, that's because you and Aunt Lori don't really get a behind the scenes tour of the stadium.
Yeah, we get in the cheap seats.
Yeah, you and Aunt Lori just don't really have time or ever in your life ever get a behind the scenes tour of the ballpark.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's that, and then oh, also in the Olympics, did you see that the did you yeah did you have to see that the you guys are gonna love this that the Brazilian surfer went airborne. Now
Oh
that
yeah.
I'm getting myself in the surfing competition really soon, less than a month away for surfing here in Riceville Beach, that the Brazilian surfer went airborne, then unexpected, which I thought it was pretty cool and crazy, and I thought, wow, I can't believe he did that, but I was like, wow, that must have been incredible.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was photoshopped, but it was the real McCoy. That was an incredible shot.
Man, was it ever. Oh, so so and also the US women's soccer team and men's soccer team already got underway. They even started competition well before the opening ceremonies for one of the tournaments for the men and women. I believe that the both men and women's team are still in it, only if they got knocked out by one of the teams. I believe the woman played today or yesterday, or I believe they play on Saturday, but I believe the men just are still in it. They probably didn't make it this far, I'm not guessing, but that's where I think they stand right now for both teams in competition of soccer. But other than that, I think the women are still in it. But what I do know is that the Canadian team just 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 spot just just had a bunch of scandals off the field from involving a drone, which is something that I feel like is something that you're not supposed to do while in practice, which is where it occurred. So there's definitely something the Canadian team has just something to really deal with, but they are still in it in the hunt as defending gold medalists for the Canadian team. But you talk about what they dealt with off the field, which I feel like to me for what they did after one of their coaches got fired for what they were dealing with, and a lot of question marks about that, and having to realize that they've got to that if somehow you got to think they have got to go to court and fight this, but man, that must have been a turn of events. Despite all that, Team Canada is still in this thing, trying to capture another gold medal from from what I can tell from the from the team reports as of now.
Yeah, so I was just looking. The men's team plays Morocco tomorrow in the quarterfinals. And the women's team, they beat Australia yesterday in Group B play 2-1. So both the women's and the men's teams are still in it, which is men's team is first time they've hit the knockout round in the Olympics in a long time.
For the first time since 2000 in the Sydney Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know France, the host country, is still alive. Argentina and Spain, I think, and Morocco's no slouch as well. So the men are going to have a tough time. I'd say the women are in good shape, but there's also a lot of good teams on the women's side of the bracket as well. So we'll see. But yeah, maybe a little double gold medal would be too shabby though. So hopefully.
Yes.
And then of course beach volleyball with the two Americans just going at it. I'm not sure what their names are, but they were just underway about a few hours ago under the lights in front of the Eiffel Tower of what would be what is always expected a sellout crowd, but they put on a great show.
It's an amazing view, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then of course fencing, where we actually had a American won gold in that event, which I feel like to me looked like medieval times a little bit or something. But with fencing, I feel like this is one of the sports we never follow in our lives, but in the Olympics just makes it very special. But fencing and boxing and Arctic swimming and volleyball and as well as the other events going on, and then swimming and then triathlon and basketball free on free and wrestling, and we haven't even mentioned breakdancing yet. Like where is it? We haven't even seen it on our screens yet. Like, are we ever going to do we even know if that competition got underway and shown it on our TV screens yet? Like, I feel like to me that's not a sport. I feel like to me that looks like people dancing on the streets in New York, just doing their just doing their thing. Like, I feel like to me, when I think of breakdancing, I feel like it's not a sport. I feel like it's a dancing event that people like just do for fun, like in the subways in New York and on the sidewalks of of the big city of New York, which I feel like was invented somewhere up in the Bronx. But
Well,
I
that's
think
gonna. Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those events that just really takes place in the New York City subway or in the city itself, not in a competition. And when I first thought about it, and then when I first heard about it, and it's in the competition, I thought, what? How is this even a sport? And then most people just feel like it's confusing, like I am, feeling it's not, but it is. But when it was first invented, it was never a sport until it was right now. But you guys just realizing about breakdancing, is it even a sport or what?
Yeah. Well,
You guys tell me if it is.
it's gonna get started a week from tomorrow.
Mhm.
So the very last weekend of the Olympics is when they're gonna have the breaking competition. Um, I guess it's just it's a matter of the perspective. They does require a lot of athletic. Whoever's doing it has to be very athletic, and so if there's enough followers to call it a sport, then that's fine. You know, uh, I guess I don't know how you would. I guess you have to rate it or judge it just like you do the gymnastics. Uh, there has to be some points given to different moves and everything, but you know, uh, it might not ever be one of my favorite sports, but it'd be interesting to see it for the first time. I'll give it a try. From watching, I won't do it myself. I'll hurt myself.
Hmm. Sounds like you're not. Sounds like you're just. Sounds like you're just one of those people that just doesn't really that just doesn't have the body and strength to do it anymore.
Well, I'm a little older,
You
so
should have seen it back in the day, though.
yeah, you says I was a legend in my own mind.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Jack, you love a good dance move every now and then, though, right?
Oh, I do. I do. I enjoy dancing with you together in the Gerke household family.
Yeah, yeah. We love a dance in the Kirky house. Hey, why not? Bring on the breakdancing, I said.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Or why don't you bring up the boombox and we do a dance off together?
Done. And then I'll give you a silver medal.
All right. All right. Great way to great great way to wrap it up. So real quick, before we get ourselves out of here and we call it and we put a bow on it, that Paris, other than the Olympic Games, was also a great city for its for team sports, but also they're known for their food and fashion and their culture. It just makes it really special. And I just really wish that all of us three um had food made from France with the barquettes and croissants and pastries. And I really wish we all really had some with us right now. It would be just really delicious and tasty.
Well, we went to the farmers market last Saturday, and I had a couple croissants at the farmers market. Wasn't the same as being in Paris, but definitely had some croissants. So,
Well, it was at least it was good enough. Despite the taste difference, but at least it was still considered made from France. Despite that, it's in America where you are. So
yeah.
yeah, there's that. All right, guys, it's 6 o'clock. Great talking to you. We will definitely be back here next Thursday, and we will and don't forget that next Thursday we might have a special guest joining us. So please stay tuned for that, and we will have more on it for our show next week. But it, but for now, great show, guys. Great talking to you. Enjoy the Olympics, and hope that everyone tunes in to watch the individual final for the women's gymnastic as Simone Biles and Anthony Lee and Team USA go at it and win another gold medal. And hope that everyone tunes in for that, and we will see all of you next week. We will talk more then. Enjoy right now and enjoy the rest of your night. Until then, and great talking to you guys, and we will see you guys next week.
Great. Sounds great. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye now.